what about the future of colleges? And what's the difference between having your kid go to a school where he may get some kind of, what did this guy tell me? He's 25 years old, and when he was studying economics in his university, he said it was infused with all these strange ethical principles. And it was like, why are we talking about microaggressions in an economics class?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
right.
Why is this happening? And so, like, what would be the advantage of potentially having your kid, if you took the same amount of money and you said, all right, year number 1, you're going to have a Eurail pass and you're going to travel through Europe and you're going to learn languages. So you'll spend a few months in this country, and then you'll travel around there and you'll get whatever kind of employment you can as you go. You'll live at hostels. And like, I mean, how would you prepare a kid to do something like that?
Yeah. Or you take the same amount of money and you have them start a mechanic shop. They buy a building and all the tools and everything to like become a mechanic. Or you take the same amount of money and you have them start a software development thing where they're working on apps to like harness the power of AI onto people's phones so that they can, college, a 4-year college is now $250,000 kind of. And it's like, so you could give them $250,000 to go get a 4-year degree at a liberal arts college where they dye their hair blue and learn about why capitalism is bad and how to honor people's pronouns.
Well, they'll learn something else too, right? Like they may actually learn about depending on how specified your degree is, right?
Yeah,
you could learn mechanical engineering or some kind of neuroscience
totally,
is an actual field. Like they might learn
right if they study that, but sometimes even in economics they're learning about microaggressions.
Yes.
But a lot of people major in women's studies or art history, and then it's like so let's just say let's try to be fairly neutral. Let's say you come out with a degree in English.
Yeah, sure. Matt Spalding had one from Harvard.
Yeah, so you spent 4 years of time and $250,000 or $300,000, and you come out with a 4-year degree in English. Yep. What does that get you? And then how does that compare to the world travel thing you said, or to the mechanic shop, or to the AI software development thing?
AI software, or you can actually go and do an internship at a film production studio.
Yep, exactly.
Just think about this, like because you wouldn't need to get income, you can just intern at things. You could, if you suddenly, but then like if it were me and my son, I would design it so that each month there was some accountability, that there's some product that's produced that then goes to somewhere. It could either be like a product that goes to a community board or maybe it goes to, like if he's at a film studio, then he would produce some level of, like, we'd track the product that they're making, right, and his involvement in it.
Yep.
Versus like if I send him to Europe on this Eurail pass, which I wouldn't do that the first year, right? That would be like a 3rd-year level of education. Would be like, okay, now you're going off and you're gonna go to every place. We're gonna live in France and Spain and Italy for sure, and now you're going to get to actually use the Spanish that you studied in school, and I want you to figure this out, right? Like, and then I would have to have something where each month there's some level of a measurement of how are we doing? What? I have no idea. I've never thought of this until right now, so I don't I can't imagine instantly what would give them the freedom to go and make friends and date people and create relationships and then also just make it so that they're not like other college kids here in the US that then they don't go to class and they play video games and smoke weed all day, right?
Right, totally. Well, historically, 100 years ago, we were raising our kids like on the farm, and your son would either going to be a farmer on the farm for the rest of his life, Or you could send him to college, and if you sent him to college, he could end up getting a job in the city and sort of kind of like creating a whole nother level of wealth and have a whole nother like platform to kind of do other things. And that was why 100 years ago, college was like a no-brainer good thing, is because it gave them the opportunity to go off and do a new thing.
Yeah.
And over the past 100 years, it's shifted from that to now, everyone still thinks college is this necessary platform to be successful. But I think if you stop and actually look at it, it's like, wait a minute. It's not. I think college has transformed amazingly in the last 100 years. And I'm now kind of like, what the fuck do you get out of a typical college degree?
Well, I've run into two people in this area who, one of them just got a job offer for $175,000 in a type of... well, it's just a tech job, right? And he doesn't have a college degree. So, but he went to a pretty good high school and he studied computer science and that. And so then he just started working in the field. And so then 5 years later, boom, offered 175, and it kind of blew his mind. And I kind of knew that was happening.
He has a skill set, and he probably has a work ethic, a critical thinking, and a skill set of certain technological computer science, whatever, that's super valuable. He doesn't have a bachelor's degree in art history, but apparently that didn't hold him back from getting a fucking fat job.
No, I have another case where the guy went on to become the CISO of a company, which is like an executive level. It's like one of the top 4 people with the CEO and the CFO, right?
Yeah.
Like running a tech company with no degree.
Right. So we're wanting to think about what we want for our kids, and I'm thinking about your son, and you were just talking about this program, and then I'm thinking, I don't think his mom is going to let him do that. I think his mom's going to send his ass to college.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's multiple college funds for this kid already.
Yeah.
Like literally, we have dueling families producing college funds, and so
totally right. No, your kid's going to fucking college because of this cultural assumption.
Yeah, it will be very, very hard to convince anyone otherwise. Yeah. And at this point, because he's in Fairfax County, and everyone believes that they should all go to MIT and Harvard.
Absolutely.
Like, all of his friends too. So. And because they picked him out when he was like 8 years old and were like, oh, look at your IQ. You have to now be an advanced program. And so like he's on this track, and they're just kind of, they're programming him to believe that. But then by the time he gets there, which is going to be 5 years from now, like, I think everything will have changed, and it's not as urgent a decision as you with your son.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, my son is only 1 year away. And I think you're right. I think in 5 years it will have changed even more. But I still think there's a 100-year-old cultural assumption that any kid who has any future whatsoever has to go to college. And I think it's complete bullshit.